I'm Armenian. I was born in Jordan pre the 1967 war, grew up as a teenager in France, and did all my university law studies in the United Kingdom. I also worked in Cyprus for quite a stretch, in Jerusalem in the political track 2 negotiations, and also for a short while I was in Greece and in Rome. So, what am I doing with this eclectic package? What am I doing recording an episode on Saint Patrick? Well, I simply want today to celebrate the Irish culture and their sense of good cheer and bonhomie. Why? Because today, 17th of March 2022, a Thursday, is the feast of Saint Patrick. Now, in that introduction I gave you, I omitted saying that I've lived and worked for short periods in Ireland, was fortunate enough to have Irish partners and still to have Irish friends. I even had my first pint of proper Guinness in Ireland, as well as my first shot of a lovely Bushmills whiskey there. I even learned to ride a horse there that I quite aptly named Seta, Seta being my aunt's name. And today, on St. Patrick's Day, I went to church in my neighborhood where the parish priest is Irish and where the image I'm using for this particular episode comes from his church. And as I entered the church, there was a whole bunch of green balloons at the entrance. Perhaps an invitation for Mass, but also a reminder of yesterday's revelries in the church hall. So today, 17th of March again, commemorates the death of a saint in 461 AD. Saint Patrick, although I think he was never canonized, was born either in Scotland or in Wales to wealthy Brits. He was captured by raiders and kept in captivity for 7 years as a slave. He was a missionary, later became bishop, and he brought Christianity to Ireland just as he drove snakes away. He is basically the patron saint of Ireland. And on this yearly religious and cultural feast day, the Irish all over the world, but more specifically perhaps in Ireland and the United States, attend parades and Céilí being social events with folk music, singing, traditional singing and dancing and storytelling, wearing green and shamrocks, shamrocks being the emblem of Ireland. But you can actually, you know what, I'm going to throw in there in all these fun-filled activities, I'm also going to throw in the odd leprechaun, those mischievous sprites or elves or fairies, call them what you will. Now, the patron saint of Ireland, himself captured and kept as a slave, who brought Christianity to Ireland, and is a day of celebration for the Irish worldwide. Now, what did this man leave behind as a legacy? In terms of writings, I'd like to point out two. The first one is Confessio. And according to one of St. Patrick's most recent biographers, this book was written as a defense against his detractors, who did not believe that he was taken to Ireland as a slave, despite Patrick's repeated insistence that he was so. And the other one that I would like to point out is the letter to Coroticus. Now, Coroticus was a British tyrant, a king in the 5th century, when he and his soldiers came to Ireland and kidnapped and killed many of St. Patrick's Christian converts. So Patrick wrote a scathing letter to Coroticus, condemning the deed and calling on him to return the captives who were still alive. He asked him to stop mistreating the Irish Christians. So here is a day of fun, of celebration, cultural resonance to the day, religious resonance to the day as well, and one where the Irish, wherever they are, but as I said, mainly in the Ireland itself, but also in the United States, where there is a huge Irish community, they come together, they have fun. So let me conclude this very short tribute to my Irish friends and an attempt to convey this day to people who've never heard of this feast or know much about it. Here is me, an Armenian, struggling to say Happy St. Patrick's Day in Irish Gaelic. Fhéile Pádraig sona duit. And don't make fun of me. I know you're smiling now. To be polite, I'm saying you're smiling, but I did my best. And if you are too critical, I'll make you say something in Armenian, my native language too. So take care and a happy feast day to you all, friends across the world.